Okay, now to talk about where I stand with pretty much all the major relationships that happened during the show Lost Girl. So, hopefully I can remember to tackle all of these. I've got to talk about multiple relationships here. I got to tackle Bo and Dyson, Bo and Lauren, Bo and Tamsin. Yes, I have to do that. Then there's, of course, Bo and Kenzie. Then there's Kenzie and Hale, Kenzie and Nathan, and anything else? Dyson and that chick from season 2, and then Lauren and Nadia, I think her name is. Yeah, that's pretty much everyone. So tackling Bo and Dyson and Bo and Lauren first. Well, at first I was a Bo and a Lauren fan, but mainly that was just because of Dyson being sketchy with Bo. I mean, like, he had reasons to be sketchy with Bo in the first 2 seasons, hiding the secret of her mother, and that Trick is her grandfather, because he obviously knew that from the get-go. And Lauren seemed to do a much better job of being honest with Bo, even though there were complications, But with Bo, everything's a complication, given her stance with both sides of Faye. But then, once we got to season 3, I ironically found myself drifting back towards Bo and Dyson, strangely, because well, it seemed like Bo was suddenly having problems committing with Lauren, and also a tad bit of what Lauren did in season 2, not really being honest with Bo about her girlfriend Nadia. Yeah, why wouldn't you be honest to Bo about that? And just the dialogue such as they were having just made me not really feel like this couple was in good standing. And Trick and Dyson make valid points that if Bo needs to feed, Lauren doesn't really have that much strength, and also apparently Bo's going to outlive Lauren by a long time. Apparently. Whereas Dyson's already 1,000 years old. Maybe more. And then the same situation just kept happening as we got in from season 3 to season 4. Just Dyson finally opened to Bo, and Bo almost opened back to him, even though I think she still wanted to be with Lauren. And how do I feel like the finale of season 4 leaves them? Well, it seems like Lauren is walking away from Bo again, but this time she actually is making amends to leave, other than just running away like she did at the end of season 3. And while there is a good possibility that she could come back in season 5, I keep forgetting if she's confirmed that she's going to reprise her role. Now she doesn't have to, because this is a much better way to write her off, because I knew right when season 3 ended that she was going to come back. I didn't even have to do any looking up. But if she comes back in season 5, I honestly hope we get a couple episodes to break from her. It'll just be better that way, have her come back for a purpose, rather than just, oh yeah, we're going to show you what happens to her because she's not going to be away that long. Come on. Don't do that again. So that sums that up. Moving on to Bo and Kenzie. I gotta admit, there's always been a small part of me that shipped them, even though they make it clear at the very beginning of the first episode, well, at the end of the first episode, that Kenzie is a heterosexual. But just, I don't know, just, the way they gel with each other too much, I just kind of, try to read between the lines, sort of, and just put them together. Dirty me, but I just love the friendship between these two. I mean, how often they're willing to risk themselves for each other, all the faith between them, all the humor moments, just, that was a great bond, and I do kind of understand why Kenzie ended up sacrificing herself, even though, let's be honest, she didn't have to, because it seemed like this whole time everyone was expecting Bo's father to go right out that portal. But getting back to why Kenzie killing herself, it didn't make sense, because she was the only person throughout the entire show that Bo pretty much never really had any issues with, even though she did sort of have issues with season. Once we got to season 4 and how often she kept ignoring her. That was totally sad. I hated that. But yeah, very good relationship, the best in the series, and helps explain why I actually prefer Kenzie over Bo. I'll be perfectly clear on that. I prefer Kenzie over her. Felt that way from the first episode. Let's jump into Kenzie's relations. I'm going to save Bo and Tasman for last, actually. I've got a few thoughts on that. So Kenzie and Hale, well, I do like how they kind of avoided discussing that scenario for several episodes, portraying them as, just simple friends, but gradually they start caring about each other as the show keeps moving on. Because, in the first season, I can't recall really any mention of them, not gelling, just, starting to develop feelings for each other, but then once we get to, season 2, that moment where Kenzie's looking at all of his muscles, he's like, "Can I help you?" And just stuff like that. It made it clear that there was more of a relationship, there. Obviously, they're not going to focus on that one as much, because the main character is, after all, Bo, but yeah, I never really had any problems with it from the get-go. I thought it was very well developed, and I felt like it had potential, although I do hate the fact that it was, ended just as it started, fully, getting along with itself. I mean, Hale's death, I gotta admit, is actually the only death of a major character that I don't feel like was completely forced and stuff like that, but at the same time, it is kind of close, and, I don't like it, I'll be fully honest for that. But I think that sums it up and stuff, yeah. And it's obvious that Kenzie really did grow to love Hale and vice versa. Kenzie and Nate, or Nathan, I forget that, well, I felt that there was potential to that, but I never fully got a good feel for how Nathan could fit into the cast and stuff like that, and eventually that was revealed as that he just got written off towards the end of season 2, but hey, it was a good part done for the show and stuff like that, and that's really all I could say. It was nice, but because another fully got developed. Okay, so who am I missing at this point? Bo and Tamsin, yeah. I think the only one other than that to discuss is Dyson and his girlfriend from season 2, a former girlfriend. Not much I could say, except it was obvious that they had a thing going, but Dyson's in love with Bo, even though he can't love, which is kind of ironic, and, her death, as I mentioned in the last video, was stupid, but it did show that there was a good amount of caring for her, and yeah, I don't blame her for taking that hit. Really, I don't. Finally, Bo and Tamsin. Now, Tamsin is pretty much the, character that started off, as minor, but became a major character that kind of confused me the, most. Because, I'll be honest, at first I didn't like her because it was kind of unclear as to where she stood, because unlike Vex, he starts off as a villain, but then becomes, shall we say, a secondary villain in later episodes, then morphs to anti-hero, constantly causing problems, and then a somewhat of a good guy. Tamsin, her story arc was a lot more unclear and stuff like that, because I fully expected her character to be written off in a couple of episodes, but then once we got to the episode where Bo rescues Kenzie and Tamsin ends up helping, I got the feeling that there was actually something more to that character, and by the end of the 3rd season, I actually found myself liking her, and her relationship with Bo, that's a pretty interesting relationship, arguably the most interesting for the entire series, because the interesting thing is the 3rd and 4th season keep dropping multiple hints that she's in some way attracted to Bo, because the bath scene in season 3, the Groundhog Day episode where she kisses Bo because she's like, you won't remember in a few seconds, and how they both decide, and just smooch again. It definitely suggests that there's actually something in the back of her mind that says she's attracted to Bo, and I don't think it's so much because she's just a succubus, it's just, shall we say, seeing a little bit more true attachment to people, because when she meets Dyson in, I think, the second episode of season 3, she's rock hard on the emotional scale, but she almost cries when Bo rescues Kenzie, and she ends up busting Bo out when, out of all people, she should be the one that keeps her in there. And stuff like that. I'm curious to see just where she's going to go, not just with Bo, but like with everyone else, because she was an anti-hero and now she's one of the good guys. And I'm very curious to see the results of that. Now, I think some of that relationship bit is due to the fact that she died, but then was like born again, because throughout season 4, it is obvious that she does not have the same personality that she had in season 3, but she is gradually getting it back, and because she now has a true friendship with Bo, Dyson, and Kenzie, it just helps her express it a little more. So who knows, we might potentially see a Bo and Tamsman possibility if, say, Lauren is completely written out. That'd be interesting to see, really. And, like, she also tried to, I think, multiple times tell Bo how she feels. You know? One of the more interesting, one-sided love stories out there, even though I think Bo definitely feels something for Tamsin, but that is more of just a gradual friendship rather than the attraction that Tamsin obviously feels for Bo. Well, again, that went on a little longer than I thought, but thought I'd share with you guys all my thoughts on this show, and I think I've done that. So this will be it until I get a good ways into season 5.